I mean, this is exciting to me. I'll say this genuinely, because it's starting to feel real. Look at this, this is wicked. You open that, you get all your drinks in there. It's nice to think, why don't we have stuff like that at home? It's better. So we're in 44 Stoke Newton Road, Dalston. And we've basically completed the first fix on the sort of front of house for a new dim sum proposition we're generating with the view that it will then be rolled out across multiple sites. This client's proved quite interesting because they're a small business. They originate in Chinatown, and they sort of took over a restaurant at King's Cross and they rebadged it Tang. Having done that, and it's been very successful, they've decided to sort of open other Tangs, of which this is the second one. I have to say, lovely client. You know, it might sound arrogant, but I've been doing this for a long time. You actually get a situation where people give you quite a lot of trust, and I think the job is benefiting from that trust. On this wall, they're going to have light boxes with kind of different colour versions of the chef's head. When people are walking along the pavement, we want to draw them in. A lot of thought has gone into both the planning of the kitchen and the planning of the front of house. So I'm hoping that it'll be a very dynamic, optimistic, buzzy, exciting space. This large piece of furniture is how I like to put it. It's kind of my concept, and then I drew it up. My core trade is in graphic design. I'm very experienced in the world of branding and digital, but my past experience does include environments. Because this is all new to me, I haven't seen this built. This was built this week. I am so excited by this. We're going to have a glass panel under here that will have a frit on it. And the fun of this is that cooking is all happening along there. There's a whole load of work to do in terms of paint finishes and stuff back here. We're going to simplify it down, so we're going to bring the black down on the back, on the rear wall, and on the ceiling up here. So it all goes dark, so it's just a bit cooler. This space here is very key because we're going to put a series of hooks up here, from which you then hang the menus, and we're going to have 6 boards for the menus. So I'm hoping it'll be very straightforward. We're going to put a series of spotlights in front of it, so it really punches out. I'm very pleased with the way this is starting to feel. The thickness of the wood feels right. It's got confidence. I really enjoy this part of the process because, you know, you've had the ideas, you've sourced some materials, you've done a whole load of presentations showing how it could look, and people sit on their laptops and they look at them and it's nice. But then it becomes a bit more real. And one of my favourite moments this week is talking about is proof of concept in terms of this hatch. And I think what's good about this space, we listened to the people who are going to work in here. They told us how much space they wanted. Pretty generous, but the front doesn't feel too pinched. So I think the weighting is pretty good. But I think it'll work very hard. And I think once the screen's up, the security frits on the glass, the colour zoning's in place, the space will feel very confident. Everyone's excited, and that's a good feeling. It's nice when you're working on something and everyone's like, it's becoming a slightly elevated experience. Joinery is obviously in, glass has gone in. I think we've had some lucky bounces in this space in terms of it being quite simple. We've been able to zone it quite successfully. Initially we came up with this palette of colours, and we've adapted that palette so it works with this floor. You know, I think you've got to go with what's there a bit. I'm a big fan of dark colours, and amazing how if you paint a ceiling dark, it kind of letterboxes up the space, and it's just better. In zoning this whole area black, it just disappears in one way, and then the yellow comes forwards. Because you think it's going to be very bold, but actually it recesses. It's actually quite a quiet colour. All it does is just give you a sense of shadow. And then just having this high, consistent skirting, it really makes a difference.
this is a new brand, so no one knows it from Adam. So we're going large on just getting it out there. How this job came about was they asked me if I would basically do some artwork based on that drawing of Anthony's dad for this new space here. So I did some artwork, but I also did some development work because I thought, wouldn't it be good if we started to think about this as a more branded experience that you could own, so that it's not just, you know, a local secret, but it's something that someone, if they drove along, they go, oh look, there's the Tang over there. A big part of their success has been being a good Chinese restaurant in Chinatown. But you've got a real bounce if you're in Chinatown. There's an expectation just by being there. So how do we get some of that excitement and pass it up and put it in other places? The ambition of Tang is that it's a proposition that is the outer ring of the experience, not just another Chinese restaurant that you can go to. There's two dimensions that aren't here yet. There's the graphics aren't up on the walls, yeah? And of course we haven't got the people. We haven't got all the theatre of the energy of the people and you know, just bringing this proposition to life. Well, since we last here, we've finished what was relatively straightforward fit out here in the front. All the finishes have been completed, and added a frit, so you can see partially into the kitchen, but not totally. And what's really nice to see is it coming to life. So as you look through the clear part of the window, you can see the duck hanging. You start to get a sense of the cooking. In terms of this space, it's going to work it's obviously going to be for Deliveroo people and for takeaway people. There's also the option, if you want to eat your food here, you can. Tang is obviously a new brand. We want to make it as bold as possible. We'll get it into the consciousness. So one of the things we've done is deliberately step and repeat the logo in a lot of different places. And the sort of hero graphic are these three light boxes, very visible from the high street. You know, work during the day, but also work very well at night. Quite a nice little icon for this restaurant. It's always a challenge when you're launching a new proposition or a completely redefined proposition. We want to get curiosity and then we want to get some appeal. All the menu boards have got up, so there are 6 menu boards that tell you what you can have. What we're trying to do to sort of move this restaurant on from a normal Chinese restaurant is personalise it. So everything's from Baba. These panels here work both as a signpost to the outside. You can easily see what's going on, what you can buy, but also they obviously work for people who then want to come in here and order some food. All right, so you're open. Should we have a go at one?
Yeah.
Oh yeah, it's all good. I can't wait for the launch and I can't wait to see it full of people. Wouldn't it be wonderful if when this film is 5 years old and it's on YouTube, that lots of people have watched it because they go, oh yeah, there's quite an interesting story, that fat bloke talking about that little scruffy Tang in Dalston, and I think that would be just fantastic. And I see no reason why, with a bit of luck and following wind, a version of that couldn't happen.